Hey yo, y'all, this is Brian here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. In this one, looking at the overall season, ups and downs, highs and lows. You want to talk about being at the best and being at the worst? Look at the San Francisco 49ers 2021 season. Be talking about that in a second. Also, Dee Ford talking about that in a second. And wanted to give a quick condolence to Jonte Johnson. His mother passed away a day or two ago. Very sad. We've seen a lot of deaths in the football community recently, and this is just another one. So I'm hoping he's coping all right along with his family, and hopefully he can come out to the team ASAP whenever he's ready, and we'll be with you in the 49er community. So rest in peace, mother Dante Johnson, and your family. I hope you guys are coping it as well as you can, and that's why he missed the game yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals. Anyways, let's get this video started. Let's talk about the overall 2021 season. It's been a really big high and low. Yesterday was a big high in terms of getting a nice win over the Cincinnati Bengals, overtime win. That was just not, I don't want to say a masterful performance, but it was a masterful last drive by Jimmy G and company. Everybody did their part. George Kittle, offensive line, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings. I mean, that he is emerging as a great star for the 49ers. I think we might have found our little Kendrick Bourne in terms of a guy that could be relied upon to block and get those nice crucial catches. He has been pulling along as a great receiver for the 49ers. And I remember he got drafted or undrafted, I forgot what it was, later a few years ago, and he was in and out of the roster, but now he has a full-time roster spot. He deserves a lot more repetition. That's very good of him. Congratulations to him. I hope he gets even more reps for the coming weeks because we're going to be needing it down the stretch. Every game is possible. Every game is going to be a playoff game, whether you're a good or bad team that the 49ers are facing. And the way that they played against the Bengals, they're battle tested. Yes, they almost gave the game away, but at the same time, they're not going to give the game away completely. And that's a good thing for the 49ers. But anyways, let's talk about some of the big highs and the lows in terms of what I've seen so far in the 2021 campaign. First up, I'd say the offense in general, it's been really good. You got the running game. When it's very effective, it's very effective. I think the biggest performance that you can look forward to this past season so far is against the Rams and the Jaguars. That was just the epitome of Kyle Shanahan and his offense, running the ball, pounding it down to the defense and taking up a lot of clock, and that's masterful performance right there. And when you have performances where the running game's not really going well, you have the passing game. The one against the Bengals really proved that the team doesn't just rely on the run, it can pass as well. And to be honest with you, this could be like a traditional West Coast offense where they just pass the ball, they pass to set up the run, and they can really do that, to be honest with you, because they have the skill players to do it. They have a pretty good quarterback, I would say, in Jimmy Garoppolo. Some of you guys might disagree, but he's good enough to the point where he can get to his playmakers. And, man, he made some nice darts, I would say, against the Bengals on Sunday. And pretty much his whole career in San Francisco, yes, he throws bonehead interceptions. Yes, he can make big mistakes and what have you, wonky ones. But for the most part, minus all those mistakes that he makes some really good plays. And I think a lot of people would discredit that. A lot of people would not give him enough credit, but he does deserve credit for what he's done in San Francisco. Even the 2019 Super Bowl run, a lot of people would credit the defense. Yes, that was great, but during the near the end of the regular season that year, the defense was getting beat up. A lot of people were getting in and out of the lineup. You had big guys like Quan Alexander, who was out for the majority of the second half of the year, came back for the playoffs, and when you lose players like that, other players have to step up, in which they did. But Jimmy and company, they were able to get it rolling. Running game was amazing. And when Jimmy had to make plays, he made plays during that year. And you got to give him credit for that. I'll definitely miss him in San Francisco, whether he's with us in 2022 or not. But I'm going to enjoy him for the rest of the year, minus him throwing in interceptions, right? But love what he's doing so far in 2021. He's having a pretty good year for the most part, minus any big turnovers. I got to always put that caveat right there because that's what the biggest criticism for him is, besides not being able to play. But he's only missed one game this year, which is pretty impressive. I thought he was going to get benched for the rest of the year in favor of Trey Lance after the Arizona game, Seattle game early on in the season. But it's looking like it's been the right decision so far for the 49ers. And, I think Kyle Shanahan should put as much trust into Jimmy as much as he can. I know it's a little bit difficult at times, but, I mean, the only concern I ever had for him, minus the turnovers, was the injury issue. And that's probably why they drafted the quarterback in the first place, traded all the way up to get a nice talent in Trey Lance. And had Jimmy never had the durability issue, he would be the hands-down starter for the next 5 to 10 years. But unfortunately, that's probably not going to be the case. we'll see what this leads to, but I'm going to enjoy Jimmy G for a while until he's not going to be a 49er. I don't know when, but I'm just going to enjoy him. That's all I got to pretty much say. And I hope you guys do enjoy him as much as you can as well. So offense has been pretty good for the most part when it's consistent. Defensively, there's been some very good parts of the defense. There's one that we could just talk about all day, all night about what's the biggest concern for, not just for the defense, but for the whole team in general. Defensive line has been really good the past couple of weeks. Man, they've been turning up in terms of getting pressure to the quarterback, being able to sack quarterbacks. And the past two performances against Seattle and Cincinnati, they were great performances. I think they had about 3 or 4 sacks per game between those two. Bosa had 2 against Cincinnati. I think he had 1 or 2 against Seattle as well. I mean, they can get to the quarterback big time. Yes, they're not the best offensive line. Seattle, we all know their reputation as an offensive line. Cincinnati, they didn't really have the best offensive line to protect Joe Burrow in the first place, but at the same time, they're still able to get some good pressure, generate some pressure, and make quarterbacks make mistakes. That's a good thing right there. The linebackers, I think that's one of the best that we have in the NFL. A good bunch of guys that we have right now, led by Fred Warner and Al-Shaair. Shaair is probably a big breakout star in the defense, and he can do a really good job. He did a very good job filling in for Fred Warner at the middle linebacker in that game. I'm very impressed with him. The big issue for this whole team in general, defensive backs, I mean, they've been going in and out of the whole lineup this year. I mean, they've gone through many different combinations. We talk about every team going through different offensive line combinations, but the 49ers have been going through many different combinations of the cornerback position. Some of it's with injury. When you lose Emmanuel Mosley and Jason Verrett, that's a big concern right there. But when you have guys that are very unproven, rookie guys, and when you have guys that are liability coverage like Josh Norman, as much as I love him, as much as I love his 2015 campaign, I mean, those are the end years for him. He's not the best coverage guy. I think we all know that by now. And the game against the Bengals, the Ambry Thomas experiment, I don't know if it's going to be working out, but I don't want to give up on him completely. I mean, when you get thrown in the fire in your first game, you're going to make some mistakes. And D'Amico Ryans, he tried his best to cover these guys. And for the first 3 quarters, it actually worked out. They were able to not throw any pressure, throw any balls deep or anything like that to either T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, or Jamar Chase, but they kind of let on near the end of the game, and it kind of affected them big time in terms of the defense. But I'm hoping that Thomas and them, they can try their best to improve as much as they can. I mean, I don't know how players improve in the cornerback position. It's just God-given gift that you have, and also intelligence. And I think they have potential to do something great, but at the same time, got to give them a little bit of time. I don't want to be too impatient with them. We drafted them really high in the draft 2021. We drafted Thomas in the 3rd round. Lenora, I mean, that wasn't too high of a draft pick, 5th round, but you put investments in these guys so you can see how they do in the long run. So I'm not going to just give up on them quickly yet, but we'll see what it leads to toward the end of the season. This would be the big Achilles heel for the 49ers for the rest of the year in 2021 is, can they cover their defensive backs? Can they get on an island, essentially? And for the most part, no. And it's going to be a big concern coming into the rest of the season. We got to play Matt Ryan in Atlanta this Sunday. They have some great targets. They have Kyle Pitts and all those guys. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Also, Russell Gage, got to give him a shout out. He's been doing really well in Atlanta so far. But yeah, it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher. And, when you get to playoff time, a lot of the offensive coordinators, they're going to be going after our defensive backs, definitely. And, if they don't address this anytime at all, if they don't improve, then we're going to get pretty bounced quickly in the playoffs if we make the playoffs, assuming that they do make the playoffs. So it's going to be a big concern, and they better get better at it really, really quickly because, it's really late into the season, and to still be struggling at the cornerback position, that's not good at all. That's not good at all. But, overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing with the 49ers. I mean, it's been up and down season. Some of the big highs I've mentioned, some of the big lows that I can mention to you guys against the Colts on that rainy day where Jonathan Taylor kind of ran us over and Carson Wentz was taking advantage of our defensive backs. Arizona, the second time we played them, I mean, when Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins was out, AJ Green too. We had to play Colt McCoy, and yeah, we made him look like a Hall of Fame quarterback. We made him look like Aaron Rodgers, essentially. I don't know what happened that day. I'm still baffled by that day on how they let Colt McCoy just be a legendary quarterback, and James Conner just ran over us. But to his credit, he is a very good player. He was great for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but, I mean, to let Colt McCoy be Aaron Rodgers, that's just really weird right there. But, that's just an anomaly right there. You look at the rest of the season, I think they're 3-1 ever since that loss right there to Arizona. And, yeah. It is what it is. Another big low, losing to Seattle twice. I just don't know why the 49ers cannot beat Seattle for whatever reason. Russell Wilson, every time He's having a bad year. He's on a losing streak. You got the 49ers on your schedule. Okay, it's going to be a stress reliever right there. We're going to be winning this game. And for the most part in his career, yes, he has been beating the 49ers pretty much all the time. I can almost guarantee any win against any opponent but the Seattle Seahawks. Really, that's just what it comes down to with the 49ers and Seahawks rivalry. It's always good games for the most part, but at the end, Seattle always pulls it off or San Francisco chokes the game. And that just sucks to lose to them big time against them. I always want to beat them. I always want to blow them out some way, but it just never happens. And I'll get that wish one day. I'll get it to the point where we can win like 20 straight games like Ohio State did against Michigan for the past 10 years before Jim Harbaugh beat them earlier this year. I'm hoping to get to that point, but it's been the other way around. And that sucks right there. I hope we can beat them next year in 2022. But yep, that's pretty much it, you guys. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. Dee Ford, it looks like he's going to be out for the rest of the season. I think he might be done for the NFL in terms of his whole career. I hope he can heal up as much as he can, but in terms of a spinal injury, when you hear stuff like that, that could be career-threatening injury, and I think that's going to be career-ending for him, unfortunately. I wish it could work out in San Francisco, and it did work out for the most part when he was on the field. 2021 as well this year, when he's on the field, yes, he's a very effective player. He can get to the quarterback, still can, but the injuries caught up to him, and unfortunately, I think it might be time to call it a career for him if you're Ford and you want to think about your future, if you want a family or if you have a family already. Yeah, I think you have to call it a career and just say goodbye to football, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that he can get back on the field if he can, if he's medically cleared, but I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. So it is what it is, but I'm hoping Dee Ford have a very speedy recovery. I hope he can come back, but if he can't, then thank you for all the time in San Francisco, definitely, because when you were healthy, man, you were a great player. Yes, you were. And people talk about the 49ers losing that trade to the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't, but, we won the trade if he's healthy. When he's not healthy, then we did not win the trade. That's all I'm going to pretty much tell you how that trade went out for John Lynch and company. But yep, that's pretty much it, you guys. Please let me know what you guys think about the roller coaster ride in 2021. Are you liking it? Are you getting stressed out about it? I mean, I've been stressed out for a little bit, but I'm getting a little bit more happy. But at the same time, the season's not over yet anytime soon. It's going to be a long ride, still a long ride. We have a few weeks left in the regular season, and I'm hoping we can win out every single game. It's a pretty manageable schedule. We got the Atlanta Falcons coming up, and then we have the Houston Texans or Tennessee Titans, if I can't recall. I think it's the Titans first, which can be a winnable game, but they're still a very good team, good defense, and Tannehill can't make something happen without Derrick Henry. We got the Houston Texans and the LA Rams. That's going to be an interesting few weeks, and the playoff race is getting really tight, so I think winning out is the best way to go so they can control their own playoff destiny. That's it, guys. Please let me know what you guys think about 2021. Please let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. That's going to help me out a lot. I hope to catch you guys up tomorrow on a Tuesday when I predict the game against the Atlanta Falcons. Bye, guys. Love y'all. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Go Niners all day.